I'm finally back home after attending Toyota's mega conference here in North America called HQC. They took a couple, actually 3 years off. The last one was in 2022, but here we are in 2025. I just got back home and the dust is settling on the big reveal for Toyota at this event, which was the new 6th generation 2026 RAV4. And now I've had more time to marinate in the details after spending some time with the vehicle. I'm excited to share the top 10 things that I am very excited for. And I think Toyota did amazing with these details on this next gen RAV4. But I'm also going to point out 5 things where Toyota may have dropped the ball. Guys, if you're excited for the new RAV4, make sure to smash the like button. I will drive it later this year. It goes on sale later this year in 2026. So if you guys are excited for that, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss all my Toyota content coming out of HQC. I'm about probably halfway done with it. Embargo driving impressions on the refreshed BZ non-4X will be coming, and I cannot wait to tell you how much different that vehicle is. All right, shall we get into the first highlight of the new RAV4? I think so. Highlight number 1, there are 3. No, scratch that. There are actually 4 different styles of the new RAV4. Now, Toyota says that there's a core, there's a sport, or you could say the GR, and then there's the Woodland, and that's all true. But within the sport, there's actually 2 different styles. The GR Sport's its own thing, but the SE and the XSE have their own styling as well, and it looks a lot more like the XLE model, for example, or should I say the core model. It's going to have black wheels, blacked out surroundings around the vehicle, garnishes, that sort of thing on the XSE, for example. We only have like one image of it, so I don't know a whole lot about that sporty grade outside of the GR Sport, but hey, I'm so happy that there are 3 major different styles. You could say 4 major different styles from the RAV4. I think that's really going to help bring in more attention to the vehicle, but I don't even know how much the RAV4 can sell more, all right, because they're kind of capped on production. And with tariffs, who knows what's going to happen. But yes, the styling, I'm a big fan of. It's not for everyone, but at least you have options if you don't like a particular styling. Let's move on to the next highlight. It's a highlight for me because I'm a huge fan of Toyota's hybrid system, and it is now standard hybrid. The hybrid gets about 7 more horsepower, but that's just in the front wheel drive model. The base horsepower number went up from 219 to 226. But if you get all-wheel drive on the RAV4 hybrid, which is optional, by the way, we don't know how much it'll cost, maybe $1,500, you get 236 horsepower, which is a nice boost. If you look at something like the Camry all-wheel drive hybrid, that gets 232 horsepower, so we get a little bit more boost here in the front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive trims for this new standard hybrid. Now, that's just the first powertrain. The other powertrain is the plug-in hybrid, also known as a PHEV. Previously, Toyota called it the RAV4 Prime, but they discontinued that naming just last year to get ready for this new PHEV, and it has 320 horsepower. The great thing, guys, about this hybrid, whether it's the hybrid or the plug-in hybrid, is that they've miniaturized the battery and the components for the hybrid, and they've stuck it underneath the floor of the vehicle, which has allowed for more cargo capacity. So when you fold the seats down, you should have a flatter floor, which is going to open up more flexibility with the cargo in that interior, which is absolutely fantastic. Let's move on to the next point of excitement for the new RAV4, which is kind of piggybacking off of the new PHEV. Okay, the new PHEV gets a bigger battery, and it is 50 miles of estimated range. 50 miles. I am super excited about 50 miles of range. Now, that's probably going to be on the SE. You got to remember the SE, the XSE, the GR Sport, and the Woodland models get the PHEV as an option. In fact, the GR Sport's standard PHEV, right? And that's probably on the 18-inch wheels in the SE. That is an increase of about 8 more miles compared to the previous RAV4 Prime. That's fantastic. You're also getting more horsepower. I want to say it was around 302 horsepower before, and now we have 320, so you get 18 more horsepower in the plug-in hybrids. Now, I don't know what kind of fuel economy these plug-in hybrids are going to be getting. The battery pack is bigger. That means it's probably going to weigh more unless they increase their energy density, which is a possibility. But Toyota said they've engineered the plug-in hybrid when it runs out of battery electric range, that it's going to be more efficient in hybrid mode than the previous generation. I was still able to get 40 miles per gallon minimum in hybrid mode when I ran out of that battery electric juice. So it's exciting. We could see 42, 43 miles per gallon. So you're not going to have a huge drop off in hybrid efficiency compared to the standard hybrid, despite the plug-in hybrid weighing a lot more. And I kind of discovered that as well in reviewing the plug-in hybrid Prius. It was easier for me to get consistently really high fuel economy in hybrid mode in the plug-in hybrid, even though it was heavier compared to the standard hybrid Prius. Stay tuned, guys. I have the Nightshade bright yellow mustard color on my review sample this week at home. So it's going to be a fun new review because I'm at my new house, obviously. So it's going to be new scenery and just a new way of reviewing cars. I'm very, very excited for that Prius Nightshade. All right. I've been clamoring for that yellow for years. Let's get on to the next point of excitement for the RAV4. And this is Arene software. I wasn't sure if it was going to make it into this vehicle, and it did make it into the vehicle. It's not in its fullest form. That will come in the LFZC production vehicle on the Lexus side, the fullest form of Arene. But Arene is an evolving software, okay? So it can debut with the basic bones in the RAV4, and they can keep maturing it over time with over-the-air updates. This is massive. This is huge for Toyota to step away from that Toyota interface. When it came out, it was already clunky, outdated. It wasn't that big of it looked better, but in terms of like usability, it was oftentimes more frustrating than the old software that it replaced. Now we go to Arene, and this is going to be a part of Toyota probably forever going forward, because Arene is an all new ecosystem of software that won't die. It'll be continuously updatable over the air, and it's going to be very, very exciting. It's debuting here on the RAV4, and I can't say too much about it other than it's also going to allow for Toyota Safety Sense 4.0, which is fantastic, but we'll have to wait to see how fantastic it is when I drive this vehicle later this year. Next upgrade here for the RAV4, specifically the hybrid model, is that now has front wheel drive. Previously, actually, all generations have had RAV4 hybrids were all-wheel drive standard. Now that the vehicle is going hybrid standard throughout the lineup, it's great that Toyota is bringing in a front-wheel drive option to reduce that entry-level price. Currently, the RAV4 hybrid is around $33,000, $34,000 starting price. That's a little too high because I think the current RAV4 starts around $30,000 after destination for the gas model. And that's front wheel drive for the base gas model. So now we're finally getting that fantastic front wheel drive option. It'll reduce weight, it'll increase fuel economy, it'll reduce upfront cost as well. And I'm a big fan of front wheel drive on most vehicles out there. This is going to segue well into the next point. It's great to have a front wheel drive option, but the all wheel drive is standard on the Woodland. And the Woodland, guys, it takes the cake for me. And I'm so happy that this model is available with the plug-in hybrid. It is going to be so fantastic. It looks like an old 4Runner up front. And I think many of you would agree that the front end of this RAV4 2026 Woodland looks better than the new 4Runner's front end. I'm not happy with the 4Runner's front end. It just doesn't. It's just that double, I guess, mustache, double handlebar mustache thing going on with it. It just doesn't sit well with me. But the front end of the new RAV4 Woodland is chef's kiss. I really, really enjoy it. I love how this new Woodland also gets the all-terrain tires. It has a slightly more ground clearance because the tires are just a little bit fatter. I don't think it's getting any lift or anything. I like the Woodland rubber mats on the inside. I believe, and stay tuned, I saw someone in the comments say that this vehicle, the Woodland RAV4, would only be available in the 10.5-inch screen and not have the 12.9-inch new touchscreen. Well, both of them are new. I don't care one way or the other. The Woodland to me is my pick, bigger touchscreen or not. They're going to function exactly the same. All right, so very, very excited for it. It does also come with a tow hitch receiver, which I think is great, but we'll talk more about that tow hitch receiver later in this video. All right, next highlight for the RAV4 for 2026 is introduction finally of a GR Sport model in America. I don't know if I'm sold on the looks. It does look better in person than it does sitting on your phone or your computer at home or wherever you are. Some of you might be on the toilet. But the GR Sport, it's here, and it is going to be tuned by GAZOO Racing. It's probably going to be built in Japan and shipped over, which who knows how tariffs are going to affect this vehicle. I can bring that up. I can talk about that for days, right? It's so unknown, and this vehicle's launching, let's say 6 months from now. And so that's radical. I don't know, it could be less, but who knows what the world's going to look like then. But yeah, excited for the GR Sport. It's going to handle great. It has a better brakes on it. It has a unique styling that's ported over from other GR products around the world, including the GR Corolla. It's going to be really, really cool. And this next one is definitely positive, and I'm getting more and more accustomed to this screen the more Toyotas I've been in. But this is the standard 12-inch MID behind the steering wheel. You're not going to have these dinky 4-inch screens or 7-inch screens back there anymore. The 12-inch screen was introduced into the RAV4 this previous generation around the refresh around 2022 model year or so. But now it is standard even on the base LE front-wheel drive grade. I think that's really, really nice. And it's highly customizable. It's just there's a huge learning curve to it. So if you guys would want in the future, I could definitely do like an how-to video on how to work this new 12-inch screen, because it's going to be on more and more Toyota products coming forward, starting with this RAV4. Now, it will change a little bit because it will be running the Arene software. The Arene software will change, maybe some graphics with it. You'll probably be able to, I know for sure you'll be able to have a much more expanded and large map on this 12-inch screen behind the steering wheel. It's going to be great. We don't know what the optional head-up display technology is going to be, and how Arene can interact with that head-up display. That's a big unknown at this point, so stay tuned for that. And here's the last point of excitement for the new RAV4. Now, I think I've only made to 9 points. I couldn't think of a 10 point. Some of you guys can probably think of a 10th point, but here we go. 9, round up to 10. We're getting a better driving RAV4, and that's not just the GR Sport. The entire lineup is getting improved structural rigidity and reinforcement of the frame joints and the suspension mounting points. So they're beefing up the structural skeleton of the entire vehicle. And so when you throw it into a turn, or you hit the brakes, or just even ride quality, everything is going to feel better driving the new RAV4. A thing I've had issues with the RAV4 in the past is that some of the times the NVH isn't great, and sometimes there's too much road noise. Well, that's going to be fixed. They're putting high damping adhesive throughout the vehicle to reduce the vibrations, to reduce road noise. And I mean, there's no talk yet about window noise, so we don't have talk about the acoustic glass, for example, quite yet. It's possible that the limited, maybe GR Sport, I don't know, maybe XSE, maybe they could get some dual pane glass throughout the front cabin at least anyways, but we don't know quite sure. Guys, are you ready? Are you ready for the things I'm disappointed about on the new RAV4? This is where it can get a little bit juicy. As much as I love the all hybrid, for some people, no gas model, no 2.4 naturally aspirated with an 8-speed auto, that's a misstep for a lot of people. I see it in the comments. To me, I'm happy. As long as the price doesn't go up too much, I'm happy, because the hybrid is just so good in Toyota models. It's reliable, it's efficient, it's powerful, it's smooth, it's quieter, etc. It's better for your brakes as well. And it's a near perfect powertrain for the current technology that we have right now. All right. But I know that's a misstep for some. Another misstep on the core model, which is LE/XLE Limited, Toyota's not offering a plug-in hybrid on it, and I'm not sure why. I guess if you want that styling, you can technically get an SE or an XSE with the plug-in hybrid that looks almost just like an XLE or Limited, just with different finishes. But that's a bit of a misstep. I'm sure it is available as a plug-in hybrid with that body style in other markets. Speaking of other markets, The plug-in hybrid also does not get a front-wheel drive option like the hybrid does for America. In Europe, Japan, they get the front-wheel drive plug-in hybrid. I get it. The plug-in hybrid is kind of like, for at least for our market, it's the range-topping powertrain. For going all-wheel drive for front-wheel drive kind of seems like a weird decision. They could offer it in the future if they want, but as of now, all the plug-in hybrids are all-wheel drive standard in America, no front-wheel drive option. Guys, this is the biggest misstep for me personally. Where's my physical climate control? Yes, there are physical buttons for heat up, cool down, defrost, rear defrost. That's it. All the climate control that used to be in the knobs and the buttons on a RAV4 in the past, that's all baked into this new Arene touchscreen. It's not a deal breaker for me. It's just frustrating because I know that buttons and knobs are always better than touch capacitive or touch screen baked in climate control. Could be worse. There could be no buttons for heating and cooling, but I would much rather have a rotary dial that actually you have in like the electrified models in the Lexus and fully battery electric BZ models, for example. They have the rotary dials for heating and cooling, and that's kind of nice. I like it. It's a nice touch. It feels good too. But we don't even have that. We just have cheap up and down heat control, which is very inefficient for raising and lowering temperature. I mean, I could beat a dead horse with this over and over and over. No physical climate control. This is the biggest misstep. They have been replaced with drive mode select. And that's great. I like having physical buttons for my drive mode select, but if I have an option between physical buttons for climate control or physical buttons for drive mode control, forget it. This is not, yes, it's sportier, but climate control is always going to need physical buttons, in my opinion, for best operation. And instead they replaced it with drive mode buttons instead. I don't know. It's a miss for me. It's not a deal breaker. So let's keep moving. The GR Sport model seems a bit compromised to me. Now, we don't have full details on how it's going to be packaged for America and what kind of features it was going to have. There was no head-up display on the model I sat on the GR Sport. There was zero sunroof, let alone a pano roof. There was no accessory power in the cargo area. When you lift up the lift back, you get in. All the other models, even the standard hybrids, not standard, but it was a limited hybrid, it had accessory power in the back, 1,500 watts, which is great for tailgating or just having that extra flexibility to use your car as a generator. GR Sport didn't have it, just had a cheap 12 volt back there, maybe 180 watts compared to the 1,500 watts that we see on other models. Okay. Also, the USB-Cs up front, it only said 15 watts of charging, where I think it was like 45 watts for the USB-C chargers on the other core styled models, as well as the Woodland models that I sat in. Again, it's pre-production, things can change, but the GR Sport as a range topper seemed awfully stripped out. All right, this is going to be a huge one for a lot of people, and it is the tow hitch receiver, which is not really a tow hitch receiver. The new RAV4 in most trims, they can actually pull 3,500 pounds, which is pretty fantastic. So the Woodland models, for example, that come with the tow hitch receiver, they come standard being able to tow 3,500 pounds. But the tow hitch receiver is 1.25 inches. And I know many of you guys were saying, I want the 2-inch receiver. If you're pulling 3,500 pounds, you want a 2-inch receiver. I totally agree with that. Now, I know there are adapters, but that, you don't want, unless the adapter is over-engineered, which most of them are not, from a 1.25 to a 2, it's not a safe thing to do. Okay, so maybe they can install the 2-inch hitch receivers on these models at the dealer. It's just a little unfortunate we got a more of like an accessory rack holder for bikes with a 1.25 versus the more sturdy 2-inch receiver. Lastly, and then I'll close it out. Thank you for being with me this long. I've spoken for about 20 minutes straight now. The taillights. I love the style of the new RAV4 for the most part, especially the Woodland, but the taillights are just like, what is this? The vertical piano keys, I don't know. It just looks too much like a Nissan product, the Rogue, a little bit like the new Murano, for example. The taillights are absolutely just mediocre, if not worse. They just don't look good. Like, what's wrong with the current taillight design? They need to improve the LED lighting on it because it is very compromised with a single brake light right now, which is essentially a laser beam into the people driving behind them. So we have, I guess, better functional taillights, but man, are they ugly and just too much like a Nissan. And that's this bit of a silly thing. The rest of the things I kind of talked about and the misses are way more functional, but I'm going to end it there. Overall, the new RAV4 is a massive upgrade, okay? From the hybrid powertrains, the plug-in hybrid flexibility, to the styling of it, the new software. I could keep going. But there are some drawbacks. No car is perfect. I can't wait to drive it later this year to find some things that I love even more than what I'm talking about today, and also find some things that are a bigger misstep possibly than what I'm talking about as well in this video, as we're, who knows, 6 months out from launch. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you liked this sort of sit down, talk to the camera. In the past, I kind of do screen sharing. It's faster and easier for me to do screen sharing where I'm looking at pictures and images of the car with you guys, but it might be more engaging in some ways for me to be talking directly to you while I'm facing the camera dead on. All right. I'll see you in the comments. Have a great day. Stay tuned for more Toyota coverage and other car coverage, of course, as well. Peace out.